Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode in the Kotlin series. In this episode, I'm going to teach you guys about single expression functions. All right, so we're getting a lot of experience making functions, which is great. So I'm going to teach you guys another feature about functions that we can do. So we can write a function like this called double number, and this can accept a number like n, like an integer, for example, and this returns an integer. And all it will do is double it. So we can do n times 2, just like that, right? So when you have a simple function like this that can essentially fit into one expression, in this case the expression is simply n times 2, you can actually turn this into what's called a single expression function, which is just a shorthand of writing it. So we no longer need a code block here, so the curly brackets can go, and all we got to do is add an equal sign, and now we just put the expression that we're trying to do. So in this case it would be n times 2. We don't even need to put return. It'll automatically be returned from this function, okay? So now we can use it. We can do print, for example, double number, and we'll pass in 2, and we should get 4. There we go, we get 4. So again, it's useful when you have a function that can fit within a single expression, but also returns their value. Another one is we can do greet name, for example, which is a common example we've been using. So we can have a name passed in as a parameter. So this will return a string, and we're going to have it return hello name, just like that. That's all it's going to do. So we can replace this greet name with Bob. So now it should say hello, Bob. There we go. So as you can imagine, these single line functions that we have here are much more concise than having a whole code block and all that. It's a small change, but it's enough to make it a little bit cleaner. Another thing though that makes it cleaner is that whenever you do a single expression function, the type is usually going to be obvious or more obvious than otherwise, so you can actually remove it. So now the type will be inferred by Kotlin automatically, same way we have with variables usually. So we can remove the return types from both of these. So now when you use the function, you don't know the return type, all you gotta do is do Control Q, and it tells you it returns a string. It's automatically inferred by Kotlin, okay? So these are pretty simple so far. You could have conditional logic if you want to. So you can do, for example, fun max of. So this will give you the max of two numbers. So we can do a int and b int. So we're passing in two different integers, and we can return which one is larger. So we could say, for example, well, let me show you what it would look like originally. So we could do, it returns an integer, open that up, and we could say if a is greater than b, then return a, and then otherwise return b, like that, okay? So this is how we would write it if we're not doing a single expression function. You can simplify this part a little bit further. You can do something like return if a is greater than b, a else b. This is a way of taking a simple if statement and putting it as a single expression, a single line of code. So we can take this and do that. So again, anything that fits as a single expression like this can be made into a single expression function. Here's one more example if we do a when expression. So as the name implies, this whole thing here, the when expression is an expression. And because it is, you can use it inside of a single expression function. So this thing is the code of the function. So we're passing in a code, which is an integer. And then depending on what the code is, we're going to match it to different status codes and return a message depending on that, and return a different message depending on what code you pass in, okay? And since we're returning strings, the type will be inferred as a string, although you can specify it if you want to be more clear, but you don't have to. And that's pretty much it. That's how you can do single expression functions within Kotlin. It's a shorthand way of writing simple functions that use only a single expression within Kotlin. So hopefully you guys found this interesting, and thanks for watching, everybody.